Rip Curl WSL Finals. It is the women's title match out in the water. We got a 5-time world champ looking for her 6th world title in the way of Carissa Moore and Caroline Marks, the sensation looking to earn her 1st world title. This is a big one. This is what an entire season has wind down to for these two women. Wow.
Surfing for the first time out there right now, Kaipo. Just get a wave underneath your boat.
Carissa Moore is going to start off aggressive this time. Moore with the first wave. Looks down the line, steps on the tail, slows the board down to set up for that turn, and a turn of priority over to Caroline Marks. Pipeline to begin the year, she took out Tyler Wright. Margaret Rivers, she took out Tyler again, and she beat this lady, Caroline Marks, at the surf ranch. But here we go with Marksy on the first wave. Look at that carve on the backhand. Off the bottom, off the top again. This is a good-looking start for the Goofy Foot. Hangs through there, and the advantage, Rosie. A clear advantage on that opening exchange to Caroline Marks.
Through the matchups, Caroline has been getting 8s, that excellent score with the 3-turn combo. Those opening first slashes were some of the best that I've seen from Caroline. Here, Caroline has the pick of it with that priority. That first maneuver, beautiful. Watch as that spray hits the water out the back. The bottom turn, top turn setup for Caroline is so crispy and on point. Her timing is great. I love that second turn. The first turn was kind of lateral, and then that third a little bit hung up. So I wonder how the judges have told us they're going to be pretty critical on every little element of your surfing. But this is, I mean, you can't fault the surfing that Caroline's doing at the moment. That second turn for me was everything.
She took 2 angles on that bottom turn as well. She kind of came up horizontally and then went straight up in vertical. Slid the tail even, that's an element of progression. Maybe an hour before his first title match, but you need to be able to find some rhythm somehow, and it seems like Marksy's just been in rhythm with these waves, guys.
Another stab up into the lip there. Caroline Marks a little bit behind the section, clears that section, no problem. Big slash there. Look at this way that she's going to back up an excellent score. Backhand here with Caroline.
This is a wave that only a Goofy Footer could have surfed this well. She's coming around the section every time. As you see right there, her timing was perfect on the backhand, and 4 maneuvers that were distinct as well. There's a lot of variation in that wave right there. Should be a great backup, as you were mentioning, Kibes.
Slow motion, Rose, we can really break this down.
Yeah, I agree with Mitchell. This one was just had that perfect backhand entry where you can see it running down the line and you get to kind of just tap through those sections and drift the tail. And Carissa had priority for this wave, so Caroline opted to go for it, and it did suit her style of surfing the most.
And that's where Strider's analysis on the lineup right now was actually very spot on.
She looks like she's glued to her board. Right back to Carissa Moore. Looking to answer back. A couple of carves on the forehand. A contrast of approach here, and Carissa goes down, does not get the finish row.
Yeah, those little mistakes from Carissa, that's can cost. It had a long-running taper to it.
Here's Carissa row.
Yeah, first maneuver, kind of set-up turn. She doesn't really hook the fins into it as you would expect, but Carissa just going through the motions here. I feel like, she had that fall on the first wave. She just wants to get something completed.
It is absolutely combustible out here. It is so rippable, it's unbelievable. It's the perfect type of wave. As we see Caroline, glide into this one. Big slam off the top there. She's not done yet. She's going to come around and get out of that one. But the surface of the water is perfect. The size of the waves are absolutely perfect.
Here we go, Carissa with priority, uses the priority. Long bottom turn, sweeping top carve for Moore. Cut back into the whitewater there, banks off of that whitewater. Another cut back, a little bit of a tapered wave here. Wants a spectacular ending, layback gash. That's going to help Carissa Moore in her cause and likely get her out of that 2-wave combination, Rosie. Here's a replay. Carissa, Rosie.
Yeah, love the rail work. I mean, to me, Carissa, her rail work on that forehand is just second to none. It's just so beautiful, so technically sound, a lot of power. But the raw power of this ending maneuver is really what gets you excited about what she's doing in her surfing at the moment. Watch that body composition as she goes off the bottom, tucks through, winds the shoulders. Just, if you want to be a good surfer, I think it's all about watching the fundamentals that Carissa has in her arsenal.
Exactly. And staying so close to the whitewater, too, in the pocket the entire time. And as you mentioned, repetitious, but that's what the wave was allowing. So she wasn't over-surfing the wave or trying to overpower it. And that last turn was critical. It was very committed with a lot of speed down the line, too. Real tough section.
Here comes Caroline. Again, Fading that bottom turn on the backhand, up into the lip, a strong slash to begin with. Fades that long bottom turn. One more snap, a spicy snap. Make it 3. That one up in the lip line. A little bit of fin release for the finish. I said it before, Mitchell. Looks like Caroline Marks is just glued to her board. Caroline.
More of a setup turn right there, a little stuck on the second one, but this third one was very committed. Took her a little while to come out of it, but only looking to replace a mid-6, could easily do that. When we talk about technique, though, on the backhand, she might have the best backhand on both the men's and women's side.
To me, watching Caroline, the word that comes to mind is explosive. Like, she's explosive off the bottom and then explosive off the top, and then there's no downtime in between maneuvers, which just makes it just like these wow factors as she's meeting the sections.
20 minutes on the clock.
Here we go, Carissa, live in real time. Skates around that section. Big carve. Comes around again. Another carve. Great rail control there. A little late and is able to stand up and finish off that wave.
So priority with Caroline now, and Carissa just trying to get busy. She got one wave after the other with plenty of time still on the clock, and it seems like the last exchange is actually going to be very close in terms of the score.
Let's talk about this wave right here, Rosie.
Yeah, just watch as she repositions on her surfboard. She takes that high line to get around that section and then just digs into that rail work. This seems like the first wave of the set to me, just looking at the way that it has that kind of fracture up the face. We've seen throughout the day, you really want that second or third one. It pulls a little tighter and just gives you more critical section to work with, but the surfing Carissa did on it was beautiful. I would say you take the surfing that Carissa's doing, put it on a bigger, cleaner, more critical wave, and that's where the money's going to come from.
All the shapers, all the competitors' families, coaches, they're all down here. It's a crazy atmosphere.
It is a day of days for surfing, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Let's get back to the action in the lineup. Carissa Moore up and at it.
Carissa Moore getting this wave under priority. Big slash there for Moore. Showing some power, a little bit of variety with a roundhouse cutback. Comes around this section. Beautiful carve there, a little release at the end, up into the lip, gets the finish, and score that for Carissa Moore, Mitchell.
But definitely something to improve her scoreline. Moving through that wrap right there. I like this maneuver right here. That, for me, that second turn is that extra bit of emphasis that we've been talking about, that bag of tricks that she can reach into that's so deep. And then finishes it off really strong. But definitely that second maneuver is that standout.
Take this another look in slow motion, Mitchell.
Yeah, and Caroline had a deep look at it, decided not to go. She saw something that wasn't going to replace the 7.93. It just seems to me like the use of the rails on the forehand has always been so impressive. I don't think she's getting a great score without that maneuver, Rosie, as you were mentioning. Great variation, but the section was steep and difficult too, so a lot of commitment right there by Carissa. And these finishing 2 turns were just as good as it gets. Down the line, always eyeing up the next section, and a beautiful finish. Strong surfing there by the 5-time world champ.
I mean, take a look at it, watch what's happening here. I mean, Caroline Marks has been ripping on these boards and looking like they're glued to her feet. Like, what are you doing to the equipment here to get her to surf this well?
We have definitely...
Hair work. She's out there picking the best waves, doing the best surfing. I love, just that technique. I think the backhand affords you the opportunity to come around that white water and really lean into all of those maneuvers. But she definitely has upped the ante in this heat. Like that 8.43, just the energy level that she was showing on every maneuver there, to me, was impressive.
There's 2 maneuvers on this wave that I think stood out so much more than other waves. Look at this one right here. Look at how precise that floater over that section is. And she keeps her speed down the line to be able to get a few more in after this. The flow, the precision, but I think more importantly, the patience on this wave really paid off for Caroline Marks. As good as it gets right there, Kaipo. Back-to-back matches with at least 17 points on the board.
Maybe Ethan close to it, but I'm giving Caroline the nod on some of the best surfing I've seen all day, and it was just incredible up in that zone.
As we catch Carissa Moore on another wave, looking to come back, and we'll wait for that score for Carissa. She's a dominant force. Pam Burge is a goofy foot as well, and she won a world title in 1990.
Here we go, Carissa Moore.
Here we go, Carissa. Don't count her out. Opening foam climb there.
Beautiful rail work there.
Nice sharp rail work on the Mayhem. And again, this wave going a little tapered, looking for the air, busts the air, puts it down, battles in the whitewater, gets the little bit of rotation, unable to ride out in front of the whitewater to count that as a make.
That obviously she's decided, okay, I'm at that point of the heat where I need to start getting a little bit more critical. Even that first maneuver, the way she drifted that tail, really cool.
And it's a point of separation too. Nobody's been able to do that so far today. But as you're mentioning, we were all seeing this telegraphed air coming in. We haven't seen one today, even on the men's side, so it would have been a huge point of difference. Had the speed, had the momentum, but the section wasn't really there, and unfortunately for her, a lot of white water went in the landing too, Rose.
It was everything. Everything was there. Just didn't have, low, as we've said, it's pushing out to sea. It just didn't have that reverb back to point her back to the shoreline, because everything was right there for her.
Caroline doing it in spectacular fashion. Excellent two-wave heat total for Caroline Marks, a 17.1 on a way for that first title match victory.